Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. I did a story recently about the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital in Glasgow that had a whole team dedicated to trawl through the social media of relatives of those who had died in the hospital. They were looking to see what these people were saying about the hospital. It is very disturbing in the first place. I mean, why on earth they should do this? They are a hospital, they are not any kind of intelligence gathering operation. And if they have money to pay these people that, then surely they've got money to pay for another nurse or two. So bad as that seemed, it all of a sudden seems a lot worse than you could possibly imagine. Because now it was revealed that not only are they just looking at the social media posts, they actually paid money to firms of private investigators to go out into the real world and spy on these people. What on earth is going on? Why do these people in running this hospital seem to think that they are the CIA? Are they that paranoid at the ability of their staff to not take care of people that they have to send this kind of thing out to ensure that people are, completely agreeing that the hospital is great and wonderful? And what are they going to do even if they find out that people aren't saying that? They can't sue them. There's no comeback. All they can do, I suppose, is refuse to treat them. But that would be illegal as well. So what is the point? Why are they wasting this money? Let's have a look and see what's going on and see why these people are responsible. They need to be fired. Here goes. So NHS Glasgow bosses admit paying private investigators to spy on the relatives of dead patients. The NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde are using an external firm to conduct their Big Brother-style monitoring tactics on critical patients and relatives at the scandal-hit Queen Elizabeth University Hospital. Now, to have a team sitting in a room trawling through all the social media posts is bad enough. I mean, that should be banned anyway. But to then pay this firm for people to go out and literally spy on, relatives. It is beyond acceptable. This is totally unacceptable. And we need to know how much they've spent on this. And then add it all up and see how many nurses and or doctors or whatever that would have paid for. And then sue this hospital board. Anyone who signed off on this, they need to go to court. They need to be held accountable. This is appalling in its own right, but a terrible waste of actual money that is given over for critical patient care, not to pay snoops to spy on patients and their families. Bosses at Scotland's biggest health board have admitted paying private investigators to spy on the relatives of dead patients. NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde are using an external firm to conduct their Big Brother-style monitoring tactics on critical patients and relatives at the scandal-hit Queen Elizabeth University Hospital. The Sunday Mail previously investigated this outfit, employing a scheme it calls social listening, to check online posts of individuals that they keep a list on. Why are they having a list of people? How do you get on that list? Why do they even have a list? This is people questioning what has gone wrong at the £842 million super hospital in Glasgow. People are going in. People are not getting the level of care they need. People are dying because of it. And the relatives are not happy. And so rather than trying to fix the situation, they spy on the relatives. They want to know what the relatives are saying about them. Paranoid much? Now health chiefs have admitted they are paying a private company to conduct the spying on their behalf using taxpayers' money. Scottish Labour leader Anna Sawar blasted the health boards. He said it is utterly obscene that taxpayer money is being spent in this way, and it is. And they need to pay it back. The people who have organised this need to pay this money back into the NHS out of their own money. Widow Louise Lawrence, whose late husband Andrew contracted an infection while being treated at the hospital for cancer, discovered both their names on the list. Yet he died from a hospital infection. It happens an awful lot. Reacting to the news of a private firm being involved, she said last night, "This is disgusting. NHS GGC should be carrying out their role in providing safe and effective care to the people of the west of Scotland, not monitoring dead patients on social media." And it's worse now when they're sending people around to snoop into bins, check mail, watch who's coming and going. Isn't it terrible? Is it? What? This is a hospital. It's not an intelligence organisation, you know. Andrew, 49, a senior government employee who was close to former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, died 3 years ago while awaiting a stem cell transplant to treat his cancer at the QEUH. The father of 5 contracted COVID while in hospital, but unknown to Louise, also picked up aspergillus, which is a fungal infection which she discovered when reading his medical notes after his death. Scientists have linked aspergillus to issues during the construction of the hospital, which in 2015 replaced the Southern General Hospital in Glasgow and other sites in the city. So they knew from day one that this fungal infection was in the hospital. But rather than do what they had to do to clear it out, to treat the actual building and clear the building of this risk, they decided, nah, we'll just open it anyway and people can take their luck, you know. Let's see if we see it. We'll probably lose a few, but we'll keep it quiet. You know, that's basically what they've done. And they don't want this coming out. And now, of course, they're looking all through social media and they're putting spies out in the streets to follow people, to look at them, to go through their mail, everything, to make sure that they aren't saying the wrong thing. Although if they do, what's the hospital going to do next? Hire hitmen? A major public inquiry into the building of the site has heard evidence of links between the construction and infections in patients. Louise has been a vocal critic of the GGC and the Scottish Government since the discovery and has been campaigning for justice with other families who loved lost ones while in the hospital. Since we were told of the spying revelations last week, health chiefs have said they have removed Louise from their list, but they would not confirm if they are still monitoring any mention of her husband, Andrew, on social media, or why they were spying on her in the first place. They have also refused to say how much taxpayers' cash they have spent on the endeavour, or name the private firm they're using for the covert operation. They need to be hauled in, they need to be questioned, the whole thing needs to be gone over by auditors. We need to find out how much it's costing, and we need to bill the board of this hospital personally. Every single one of them. We need to make this illegal. We need to put people in jail for this. How dare they do this? Families that are already suffering, and they're putting spies out to spy on them. These people are inhuman. They have no emotion. Are they psychopaths? And what can they do when they hear these stories? There is nothing. Mum of 3 Louise said, there may be no legal issue with a third party holding the data of a deceased person, but it is morally and ethically wrong. NHS GGC needs to confirm the removal of Andrew's name from this list and provide me with the company's name so I can ensure the appropriate removal of both our data from this third party organisation. Other patients and relatives involved in the hospital scandal said they were horrified at the health board's behaviour and demanded to know if they had been spied on too. The hospital insisted no other patients or their relatives were on the spying list. That sounds like bull, doesn't it? Utter BS. Oh, we're removing you from the list. Oh, but there's no one else on the list. If there's a list, there's more than one person. Stevie Joe Kirkpatrick, who was infected with a rare bacteria from the water supply at the hospital while being treated for cancer in 2017, has wondered if her name is on the list. The 18-year-old from Dumfries said, I'm really disgusted to find out they were spying on people. It is not right and they shouldn't be doing it. Absolutely they shouldn't be doing it. You go into hospital to get well, not to die from an infection that the hospital knows is in the hospital, that can be dealt with, but they've chosen not to. And then to have your relatives spied on because you died in that hospital of this particular problem. It goes to show that this board are not fit for the job. And whoever the health secretary was, oh, wait a minute, it was Humza Yousaf, wasn't it? Needs to be investigated too. Did he know about it? Did he allow this hospital to open and continue whilst knowing of this infectious risk? Questions need to be asked. She said, anyway, going back to this young lady, it's stressful enough to have gone through all of this. I had cancer. I got a very bad infection that left me with lesions all over me. And then my chemotherapy was stopped. All I want is to find out how this happened, and spying on people is not the way to get answers or to stop this happening again. Anna Sawar said the health board bosses have got their priorities wrong. He said the SNP cannot keep enabling this shameful behaviour from the NHS GGC leadership, which has treated giving families with unimaginable cruelty time and time again. And he's right. This board needs to be thoroughly investigated. We need to have that list. It needs to be... Everyone on that list needs to be informed that they're on that list. The list needs then to be destroyed. They need to name the firm so that it is basically, it's out in the open. And then we need to know how much was paid from the hospital's funds to the firm, to all the people, how much was spent on all the people doing the investigation on the social media, to get the whole bill presented to the board and say, pay it or you go to court and put the money back in. And if it's tens of thousands of pounds, and it won't be cheap, they will have to find that and make them find it and make them pay for it. Anyway, I shall stop there and come up. Now, I said this about these people in my last video, and I have to say again, who the hell do they think they are? Who do they think they are that they can spy on patients and patients' families? It's bad enough when you lose someone, but then to find out that the very hospital who failed to look after your loved one is now spying on you in case you say something bad about them. It beggars belief. There has to be a full investigation. Absolutely, 100%. This has to be fully investigated. Names have to be named. People have to be held to account. And where appropriate, people need to go to court. And certainly the bill must be repaid. Unbelievable. That probably was the cost of 2 or 3 nurses. Those 2-3 nurses alone may well have saved someone's life. That's how serious this is. Anyway, I shall stop there. I shall leave it, into your minds of what you think. Do tell me what you think in the comments below. But I think this is absolutely disgusting. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. If you like what you see here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Please share the video. Do apologise. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, stay out of Glasgow hospitals, and goodbye.